Hi there, it's Jim Alexander here from New Wave Learning. I'm just going to show you how the InspireMe program works, or the learning journey that works over 2.5 weeks, and what it entails and how we specifically use this app. So once you've downloaded the program, you will eventually get to what we call a stream of learning or learning journey. And this learning journey consists of 25 steps. As you can see there, you've got congratulations right at the end on step 25. The first things participants will do is that they will be welcomed by yours truly, and in here is embedded a video of moi talking about the purpose and why storytelling is so important in this day and age in order to galvanize people, take them on a journey, get them all facing the same way, really inspire, influence, persuade people to get on board in a particular idea, vision, product, whatever it is that you are trying to use story to help with. So you'll see at the bottom here there is a little slider, and as we move across, it will kind of update you or tell you things of value, or there'll be specific learning points. The way that we always go back is the top left. So you see the arrow at the top left. I'm just going to click that there, and we get back onto the learning journey. If we go back again, you'll see all of the different kind of functionality and resources available to you. I'll click the learning journey again. So how does the program work? So you get welcomed. You then, on step 2, you get tested. So here's a couple of questions that we use to measure people's understanding of storytelling, and specifically the kind of information that they're going to be given. So we kind of expect them not really to get these questions or understand these questions, because we will then repeat these questions right at the end of the program to see what knowledge they have retained. Step 3, here is an example of how we use specific links. So this is Magical Science of Storytelling, a wonderful TED Talk by David J.P. Phillips, which looks at the neuroscience, why stories work, and how you can influence people in particular ways by using particular stories to create emotive experiences within your audience. So we come back to the learning journey, that's step 4. And this is where we get our first human interaction. So by step 4, we invite people to a welcome webinar. We call it a webinar, but it's actually a facilitated live session. And this is where we kind of help people with any kind of technical issues, but the most important bit is that we get them understanding about this learning journey, this micro learning journey that's not going to take them too much time if they do it in a progressive way over the 2.5 weeks, because all of our videos are relatively short, and all of the actions and activities, challenges, quizzes are quite short off the back of any information that we give them. And we get them to really understand why it's so important to be learning this skill at this moment in time. That welcome webinar is roughly around about half an hour long. So then they go on this whole stream of learning, starting with step 5. And this is where we explore our own structure called the Story Star structure, by giving some examples of particular stories. This one is actually specific to a client of ours. There's another story in there which we refer to in all of our videos going forward. So you'll see at step 6, this is before we begin. This is a video about purpose, and why we need to think about purpose in the first instance before we even start to create our story. So there's another video in there. And one of the most important parts around creating good stories is creating intrigue. So there's some lovely videos here, and there's a very classic example of how only Fools and Horses have used intrigue in order to engage audiences. Then we start the understanding of how to build out a story with set the scene, respond to the call, obstacles, reactions, and wrap it all up. So by the time after about a week, people have an understanding of how to create or structure a story. As you'll see, by step 5, we ask people to submit a video, film up to 90 seconds, talking us through the Story Star. That will come directly to the coach. That coach will be someone like myself, where we will give instant feedback on their structure. Then they actually have to film themselves telling the story, and then they will get specific feedback at a in a very individualized way about their stagecraft and what it is they can do, what they're doing well, and what it is they can do to improve the impact of their story. They then submit those videos. The coach goes to work on delivering that feedback. And then they go back into the learning journey where they will see various different examples and we'll have quizzes. And then we will look at stagecraft because we're preparing them to come to their first group coaching webinar, which as a cohort of 20 is now down into group sizes of 5 for an hour long. And on this first group coaching webinar, this is where they will tell their story to the group, no longer than 5 minutes, and they will get specific feedback from their peers and from their coach. And they will be asked to apply that feedback moving forward. So they go back into the app. There's some more content around understanding stagecraft. There's an example of a well-told story by Barack Obama. And then they have to refine, practice, and rehearse, because the closing of this particular journey is another webinar where we want to see them applying the feedback that we've given them about their story. This is, again, very, very practical, very interactive. And again, this is kind of the dress rehearsal, because after this point, they're going to use their story in whichever context is relevant for them and their business and start telling it to audiences in order to inspire people to either think something, feel something, or do something. And after they've come off that final webinar, there is a knowledge check. So that's specifically the same questions that we asked right at the beginning to see how the learning has translated and how it has been transferred. Finally, they're asked to film a commitment piece about what they're going to do as a result of this program, how they're going to apply it, and how they're going to use it in everyday life. The last piece is that step 25, which is the congratulations on completing the journey, and then there will obviously be some feedback criteria either from the client or from us, whichever way you want to do it. That is a snapshot of the InspireMe journey, and I do hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.